What's up YouTube, Joseph here, and I'm giving you guys a deck profile for Harpies. It's been a very long and difficult journey because so many reasons. And I just want to say thank you guys for the wait, because it's very hard to play Harpies for a long period of time. It bounces off back and forth depending on the format. Links haven't really been Harpy's best friend. Probably does a lot better in the OCG. But as far as the TCG goes, it's a lot of stuff that's still up in the air, bounces itself around. We don't have broken combo sets like one turn into 5 different monsters like spirals and stuff like that. But we do get around with what we do have currently. And I'm looking forward to any new stuff that we can get or possibly can get. Also, in facts of, I would love to see a link monster for Harpies, especially considering the fact that we only have one monster in the extra deck, and generic support is okay, but it's not really helpful in an archetype that wants to really benefit itself and really have a lot of things that need to be fixed, that over time it could have been fixed. Because searching and having a search engine isn't always the best key to winning a game. And as much summon as we get, we don't have a lot of access to a lot of other areas in the game where other decks have. So now that I got that out the way, I want to go through my deck profile, and I want to go through everything as much as I possibly can. So I hope you guys enjoy. So for my monster lineup, I'm rocking my 15 Harpie lady setup, and it starts off with Harpie Chandler, who's pretty much my deck's main engine. She discards a Harpie card to special summon a Harpie monster from the deck that can be spell, trap, or monster. If you control a dragon type monster, her level changes from 4 to 7. So if you're playing Harpie's pet dragon, for instance, and it's on the board, she's on the board, you can go into rank 7 place, because her level will change from 4 to 7, which is an amazing effect. But it does depend on if the player wants to run dragon or not. Another key note to know about Harpie Chandler is her other ability. She is Harpie Lady while she's on the field, or she's Harpie Lady while she's on the field in the graveyard, and she shares that ability with many other monsters, just because the 3 of rule on a monster card, if it's not limited or banned or semi-limited. So with Harpie Chandler, she treats herself as Harpie Lady while she's on the field in the graveyard, as well as Harpie Dancer, Harpist, and Queen share that whole ability as well. So it helps with Elegant Egotist and Hysteric Party, so that you can have a lot of those effects going on, as well as Harpie's Hunting Ground. So it's Harpie Chandler. I'm playing triple Harpie Dancer. This just feels comfortable to me to play triple Dancer, and it's always been a preference of choice for me to play triples of a lot of my Harpie monsters. Harpie Dancer's ability is that she can return one wind monster you control wind monster you control back to the owner's hand and give you additional normal summon of a wind monster a turn. It doesn't work with extra deck monsters. They have now clarified that. But it does help you retrieve monsters like Harpie's Pet Phantasmal, so you can go into another one, and it helps you abuse Harpie's Hunting Ground and its ability to pop spells and traps, as well as comboing it with cards like Divine Wind of Mist Valley to just summon more wind monsters from your deck, especially Harpies. Because of her stats of 1200 attack, she gets under cards like Shop Hole, so those won't be really much of an issue, unless you're playing Harpie Lady 1 while she's on the field as well. So yeah, that's the only little kick about her. And then of course she's Harpie Lady while she's on the field or in the graveyard. Next is Harpist, and Harpist has 2 abilities. The first one is always overshadowed, which is her ability to select one winged beast monster you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls, and return those monsters to hand. So she's pretty much a compulsory escape device. It's the trap card that hits 2 monsters. The benefit to her ability as well is that you can use it with Divine Wind of Mist Valley, and you can get more wind monsters out with that. Her other ability is during the turn she is sent to graveyard while she's in the graveyard. You can add one winged beast monster that's level 4 with 15 or less attack from your deck to your hand. So she has capabilities of searching for her other Harpie sisters in the deck, like Harpie Chandler or Harpie Dancer, or any variation of Harpie Lady that has 15 or less attack. So she's not too bad of a monster. And then we have Harpie Queen, 1900 attacker, a field spell searcher, and with Queen being a Harpie Lady while she's on the field graveyard, she does help with cards like Hysteric Party. She is pretty much the first Harpie monster to come out and not be Harpie Lady while she's in the deck. So it does help with tremendously with a lot of combo pieces and later versions of Harpies. So that is Queen. For my Harpie Lady lineup, I'm running one Cyber Harpie to be an additional beater with Harpie Queen to run over a lot of monsters, especially when I'm going to flood the field in OTK. Harpie Lady 1 helps generate some OTKs because she gives the additional attack power that for wind monsters while she's on the board, and she herself gains that additional attack too. So she can make a ton of monsters into 20 plus attackers. And then I have Harpie Lady 1, who, vanilla as she is, really I have some more combo pieces in the deck that I'm running to speed up the process, because I know it's a lot of things with this deck that I wanted to do, but I didn't want to overextend the deck itself to like a 50 plus deck, and then it has like no draw power, no search power. It's a lot of things that would have had to be cut. So I'm trying to keep it as even as possible. So that's pretty much my Harpie Lady lineup. And these monsters can be such summoned with the effects of Elegant Egotist. These monsters are technically your only targets outside of Harpie Sisters. And you can also include Harpie Lady 1 or 2. But note that because of the 3 of Claws, you can only run... you can't go 1, 2, 3 in a Cyber, for example, because they're all treated as Harpie Lady. And the newer prints all have the claws on them. It says this card's name is always treated as Harpie Lady. It's not an effect or a condition, it is a game mechanic. So that cannot be negated. A card's like Fiendish Chain and stuff like that. Alright, so that is the Harpies in the deck. For my non-Harpie monsters, I'm running 2 barriers that shield a Stormwind. This is pretty much to help protect the tons of wind monsters that we're playing. Force your opponent to summon wind monsters. I don't think there's, outside of Castell, I think there's probably the only wind monster in most people's extra decks, unless they're playing Stardust Dragon, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, or Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. And that's only if I'm suspecting you're playing like Invoke Wind Witch. Is there any other monsters that can get over this? The barrier statues, depending on their attribute, force both players to only summon monsters to the field that are of that attribute. So that's why there's 2 barrier statues of Stormwind, because this deck is primarily wind and can easily summon a ton of its wind support. And then my last monster is just pretty much the Fabled Maxi. For the rest of my deck, for my spells, Triple Hysteric Sign, pretty much we can, has both 2 amazing effects. The first effect is that you can add Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So that pretty much helps you thin out that search. Then, during the turn in which this card is not from hand or field or graveyard, you can add up to 3 cards with Harpie in its name that are different from each other, and add them to your hand. So now that we have Harpie's Featherstorm as a trap, we can now search for a trap card. We have options to search for our spells, and we have a ton of options to search for our monsters. You can't activate both effects during the same turn, which is unfortunate, but it makes it a lot more balanced. So it does prompt you to really think about what you want to do. You can easily prop this with cards like Hysteric Harpie's Honeyground, because you'll have to force through popping your own spells and traps. So this is a spell or trap that this is pretty much a spell you want to pop, so that you can search for tons of material and to replenish your hand when you want to go for a wipeout next turn. So that's in tons of cards you can easily use to discard this too. Summoner Monk, Hysteric Party are just some of the few examples. Next, I'm ranking 2 Harpies Hunting Ground because I had to thin out the deck a lot more to fit in a lot more spells and traps. Primarily spells. But pretty much whenever Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters are supposed to summon, the conductor of the summon selects a spell or trap on the board and destroys it. If you have to, you would have to destroy Harpie's Hunting Ground if that's the only spell or trap on the field. In addition, it gives all winged beast monsters synergization attack and defense. It does sound like a little bit of payoff, but if you're playing a pure Harpie deck, like I primarily am, you can easily just get a whole bunch of Harpie monsters onto the board. And you would eventually have to pop it, but they do get a little bit of attack bonus. The main priority here is you just want it to pop stuff. So it's never too much of a bad thing. It's just I took out a lot. I took out one to put in more stuff. So one elegant egotist because we have the triple hysteric sign to search for it. I'm not running sisters in this build. I think I'm citing sisters for this, but it's still a good one of, and it helps you get into a lot of pieces so you can link summon and grow summon. Link summon and seed summon. I ran 1 Swallow's Nest, which I kind of wish was tied to the Brethren. Actually, I wish this and another card was tied to the Brethren because I've tested those out and those has actually worked a lot better. But Swallow's Nest tributes a winged beast monster. So this summons a winged beast monster, but they have to share the same level. They don't have to share the same name, but they do have to share the same level. So you can get out of dodge with a lot of cards and put a lot of new stuff on the board. Especially a barrier statue. If your opponent's trying to special summon monsters that aren't wind, you can drop a barrier statue. And the barrier statue will prevent your opponent from summoning stuff that isn't wind. Outside of that, you can just, pop in and out Harpies and keep the deck going. 1 Raigeki, 1 Dark Hole, pretty much for monster removal. I'm rocking 1 Inferno Reckless Summon, in addition to the Harpie Lady 1, who, besides Harpie Chandler and Harpie Harpes, Harpie Dancer are pretty much primary targets to help this card go. So what it does is, if your opponent controls a face-up monster and you control, when you such summon a monster with 15 or less attack, you can start to summon as many monsters from your hand, deck, or graveyard who share the same name as that monster. In addition, your opponent can summon a monster from their hand, deck, or graveyard who share the same name as the monster that they own. So it isn't a bad thing, but it can backfire if the monster is something really good, but they have multiple copies of it in the deck. Some people try to use this with Harpies, but it's one of those things where you kind of try to use it with a Harpie Lady and not Harpie Dancer or Chandler, which I think would kind of be a better option. Like I said, I'm only running 1 of this because of deck construction. But I would probably prefer Ties of the Brethren better, just because of the fact that I can easily get other monsters that aren't Harpie Lady on a board, especially my barrier sections of Stormwind, because I would rather want to see them a lot faster. For my last 2 cards, I'm running 1 Terraforming and 1 Divine Wind of the Mist Valley. So what Divine Wind does is when a wind monster you control is returned to the hand, you can summon a wind monster that's level 4 or lower from your deck. It's a really amazing card because it's still at 1, but it's completely broken because of the fact that you can easily bounce back your Harpies with effects of Harpie Dancer and Harpie Harpist, and then you can put more Harpies on the board. Terraforming is just here to search for it. Yeah, that's pretty much what Terraforming is here for. And Divine Wind pretty much helps you get into a lot of your special summoning plays, like Link summonings and Exceed summons. Alright, for my traps, triple Harpie's Featherstorm. I love this card. This card is one of my favorite Harpie traps next to Hysteric Party. If you control Winged Beast, you can negate the effects of all your opponent's monster effects till the end of the turn. which is amazing because you can deal with stuff like Effect Veiler, Maxi, Ghost Ogre, Snow Rabbit, Joyous Spring, and Winter Cherries. And its other effect is if you control a Harpie monster, you can activate this card from your hand, so you don't have to you don't have to set it and wait. And its last effect only really applies right now to the OCG, but if this card was destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can add one Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which would be amazing for Harpies because that's pretty much our biggest massive back row destruction card. But unfortunately, we don't have it in TCG, which is a bummer. But everything else kind of does somewhat make up for it. You know, the whole negate monster effects, and if you control a Harpie monster, you can activate it. It's just that you can't use it on Harpie's Pet Dragon, Harpie's Pet Phantasmal, or Harpie's Pet Dragon because they're not they have Harpie in their name, but they're not winged beasts. So that's the only downside to it. And of course, you can search for it with Hysteric Sign because it has Harpie in its name. Speaking of Hysteric, we have Hysteric Party. Pretty much Harpie's most broken special summon card in this game. Discard one card, so summon as many monsters that are Harpie Lady as possible to the field. Harpie Queen, Harpie Chandler, Harpie Dancer, Harpie Harpist, or Harpie Lady were on the field in the graveyard. And in addition, this had to the rewording on Honeyground was because of this card. Because of the fact that if you massively summon, most people didn't realize that it's a simultaneous summon, which is similar to Rescue Cat, Rescue Hamster, and Rescue Rabbit, where they're bringing out multiple monsters with the same name to the field. It's just whoever conducts the summon now is the one that selects the spell or trap on the field and destroys it, instead of being forced to destroy multiple cards, which was partially Konami's fault for not really correcting or having bases on their cards. But now that's kind of over. The best thing about Hysteric Party is that you can discard a card, any card. You can discard Harpie Harpist, you can discard Hysteric Sign, and get their effects off, and then just pretty much swarm your board with Harpie monsters, and then take your opponent out for game. Or go into Link monsters and keep monsters and just crazy shenanigans. Following that are two anti-spell fragrance, and I love this card with Harpies because it forces your opponent to set spells. In the way Honeyground helps is that you activate your Honeyground, you flip this over. There's no pendulum scales because they can't be set. Your opponent's sitting on spells and traps. Basically probably spells, and they can't use them because majority of them are probably normal. Even quick play spells have to wait while this card's on the field. So it really slows down a heavy spell deck. And with Harpies, they love to deal with a lot of heavy spell decks. If they can slow them down, and this combination with this and Hunting Ground helps tremendously. As well as Harpie Dancer's effect to give you the additional normal summon. And Harpie Chandler because she can special summon in Elegant Egotist. A few one-offs are coming up next. The first one is Story Mirror Force. I don't really like regular Mirror Force anymore because regular Mirror Force destroys, and most stuff can't be destroyed. Why stuff like Draining Mirror Force and Storing Mirror Force are kind of a lot better because it just helps you get rid of the problem by returning it to the deck or returning it to the hand. I don't remember any of them banishing, but I think that's Dark Mirror Force, and that only banishes if the monsters are face down. One silent warning, because it's warning. I'm playing one Icarus attack because of the Wingy Beast, and I'm playing one Torrential Tribute. So that's pretty much my extra deck lineup. For my that's my main deck lineup, and that was the last of my traps. For my extra deck, 2 Harpies Pet Phantasmal Dragon, because this is Harpie's boss monster. While it has Exceed material, Harpie monsters can be targeted by card effects or attacks. That does include itself because it has Harpie in its name. It can attack your opponent directly, so whopping 2,000 to the face. During each of your end phases, you have to touch material from this card. There's nothing wrong with that. I think this is really amazing, especially once you start going for OTK. With so much Harpie support with Harpie 1, you can easily range it to about 2,900. And it's beating your opponent's face in and Cowboy for game, if that's the case. I am rocking 2 because I like the process to get it a lot faster. And in case one dragon falls, I have another one waiting. So, some staple Winged Beast win stuff right here. 2 Lightning Chidori, 2 Castell, and 2 Ice Beast Zero Fine. Especially for Winged Beast decks, Ice Beast Zero Fine is amazing. She just needs 2 Winged Beast monsters. Her effect is she negates every face-up card on the field your opponent controls. For every face-up card on the field, she'll gain 300 additional attack for each one, and those effects last till next turn. Although new stuff will come in, the fact that she can negate stuff that's currently on the board helps tremendously, and then she gets a power buff from it. Castell is just a really awesome generic rank 4 because you can bounce stuff, or you can put stuff face down. He's Winged Beast, so he combines well with Harpie Lady 1 and Harpie's Hunting Ground. And just an all-around awesome effect. Lightning Chidori, if you have 2 wind monsters, you can place him on the board. He can send a set card on the field when he succeeds on your opponent's side of the field back to the bottom of the deck if he succeeds summon. And then once a turn, he can select a face-up card on the field and send it to the top of the deck. So you really do some more disruptive plays. So this is pretty much one of those staple lineups for Winged Beast. Pretty much the Harpies toolbox. Next to Phantasmal Dragon. For the next couple monsters, we got Gagaga Cowboy, who's here for that 800 points of damage. I don't have Utopia raised, so I'm rocking XYZ Rebellion Dragon to pretty much have my opponent's monsters attack, gain it for his own, and then start attacking monsters. I'm rocking 1 Korrigorgon, the Anti-Luminescent Knight, to redirect card effects that target. So stuff like Effect Veiler, stuff like, because I don't think the Ghost Ogres target, and he doesn't affect things in the deck. He only affects stuff that's on the board. So MSTs, if a opponent Twin Twisters would select 1 card and stuff like that. So really just mainly just to deal with target stuff. He doesn't have too much of a bad attack range either. 2450. So not a bad card. Next I'm running 1 Giant Hand and 1 Silent Honor Arc, because of course they're your rank 4 generic rank 4 setups. It's still some of the best rank 4 monsters. Unfortunately, we did lose one in the Emerald getting banned. So, which sucks. But yeah. Giant Hand and 1-on-1 Silent Honor Arc. And then my last 2 monsters, of course, Decode Talkers, because this is Link format. And still some of the best Link monsters currently right now in the game. Next to Firewall Dragon, who's amazing. Proxy Dragon, who isn't that bad himself. And also just the generic ones. So let's imagine we start getting more generic ones. And I think we do have a couple more generic ones. So it's not too bad. So that's pretty much the end of the deck profile. I want to thank everybody for watching. It was a pretty long video, but I did have some couple of things that I wanted to address. So I hope you guys do enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, you guys, this is HPJ signing out. Take care.